We're going to move away from that story and go back to Damascus now, where Syria's new leader, Ahmed al-Sharaa, is addressing the nation. Let's listen in.
ونهبت بأيدي السراق القتلة وتحولت سوريا إلى بيئة طاردة ومنفرة لأهلها ولجيرانها وللمنطقة والعالم.
And Syria has become a repulsive area for its people and for the region. And a lot of people left Syria, and Syria, the land of civilization, has become completely strange to its traditions and civilization, and it's become behind a lot of other states. In Idlib of dignity, and within the framework of the blessed war, a new future for Syria was being built. The country was freed, people were happy, and our brothers in neighboring countries were happy for us. The whole world, in fact, was happy for us. The belonging to our people, to their countries, has regained their souls, and also the neighboring countries made sure to share this happiness with the Syrian people. And now there is a new hope, there is a new window of hope and prosperity. However, Syria is still under the heaviness of what happened in the past. In the few months, we tried to put together a plan for recovery to change the reality that Syria used to live in. We tried to work relentlessly in order to maintain peace and stability inside the country, and also to try to include all the different factions within the army, and also to have an election committee to form a parliament, and also to have a committee for a transition, a just transition, and to abolish all the unjust and unfair laws. And as we assess also the situation of the different institutions and how to make them work again, along with all those efforts, we have also worked relentlessly on the diplomatic field in order to introduce the new Syria and the reality of Syria to the international community. Syria has taken part in different important international forums, and also raised the flag of beloved Syria in the United Nations, and was able to open closed doors and also pave the way to strategic relations with different Arab and international states. We have seen several of our brothers and brotherly states and we realized also that the whole world loves Syria and also concerned with the situation of Syria because of its important place in their hearts. I have visited Saudi Arabia a few months ago, where I met with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and he told me that he would exert all efforts in order to lift sanctions, and I've seen in his eyes and the eyes of his people the love for Syria, and also.
Okay, real quick, I'll just say you're tuned in to On the Grind with Political Decode. I'm your host, Jonny Caruso. I'm happy for the Syrian people, but I believe one needs to hesitate to celebrate and get to the work on the process of what's it going to look like when it's election time. What's it going to look like when the West comes in or the East comes in to make trade with you? Because all of this with Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, China, United States, it all should be trade through peace. Trade should be the number one word. United States and China, they're the two biggest adversaries, two biggest economies in the world. Why haven't they shut down each other going to war? Because they do enormous amounts of trade with each other. That keeps peace. Even small countries like Syria and Iran, if there was a way they could just trade, they wouldn't need to go out there and export terrorism as a means to make money. If they could just trade. So these are the tough things. And when millions of dollars come in through trade, like it done in Africa, those leaders can't just be like, okay, we'll take 5% of what these companies make, right? And not give it to the government, not build schools, bridges, and not take that 5% and turn it into 10, 20%, like expand the government model from that. That's the problem. You know, you get these regimes, and they just want to stay in power and control. And there has to be a situation where they say, look, we're going to be the liaisons for the next election, make sure it's done fairly. And they could just be like, kind of like the sideline, like in Saudi Arabia, maybe even China, like they have the prime minister, right? But he's not like the head of the country. He's just kind of more like the spokesman for the country. So, yes, I'm happy for the Syrian people. They're jubilant. They should celebrate. But they need to be serious about what the future of the country looks like. Like, no one's taking your religion. So why make it just extreme religion part of your government? Like, you really need to think outside of putting one person in power and just letting them get all the money that comes in from other countries to trade. You need to set up a government that's gonna actually work for the people and allow the people elections. But you can't bomb and blow up people when you disagree with them. That's part of, you know, I'm not saying install Western democracy, but I am saying as long as you keep pushing a dictator out of the door and opening the door for a new dictator, you're never going to get nowhere. That's, you know what I'm saying? The kings, the queens, they're in the Bible, they're in the Quran. That's in stone. We don't need no more kings and queens. We need people to be able to elect their leaders, and then after their time is done, they can elect their followers or elect new leaders. But just to let people just stay in there forever, and then when other international players come in to invest, the communities don't see that infrastructure, that money, because it goes to a small majority of the people at the top. You have to do away with that. And so right now, the hard work is the easy step now is celebrating because you feel like you have some security from the West, right? That's the easy step. The important step is to say, hey, look, this is the hard work. We need to put in some framework. We need to make a framework that is really hard to... A good framework, you could try 10, 11, 12 ways to break it, and it can't be broken, right? And it should be a law. So you have your religion, and then you have your government law, right? And yeah, and the circumstance of Syria, you need to frame it so that it does encourage your religion, because when people want to rebel, they'll use it in the name of religion. So if religion is in the framework, right, it would be hard to neglect or get around the framework. Right, so you have to put religion in the framework to biden it and make it stronger. If I were running things, but hey, look, thank you for tuning into the channel. You're on the grind with Political Decode. I'm your host, Jonny Caruso. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, like, and share for me. Let's get back into the video.
Trust in its bright future. After that, I visited the Turkish President Erdogan, who also stood by the Syrian people and during more than 14 years, and also received millions of Syrian refugees with all the suffering and burden that they carried with them. I've seen also and witnessed solidarity, and they wanted to help us so that we can fall again on our feet. And also I visited His Highness Tamim, who also was with us since the beginning, and he was always standing by the side of Syria. I also visited the leader of the United Arab Emirates, and he showed that he was ready, that he will exert all efforts in order also to support Syria. And King Hamad bin Isa, the King of Bahrain, also congratulated us, as well as our brothers in Kuwait and Oman, without forgetting the King of Jordan, who welcomed also the new Syria, as well as President President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and I've seen that he wanted to make sure that Syria will be stable again, as well as Libya, Algeria, Morocco, and Sudan, and also in Sudan, where the leader also said that he would like to see new relations between the two countries and fruitful cooperation. After that, we met with the President Macron, who said that he's ready to lift these sanctions along with important European Union countries, including Germany. Italy also said that it was ready to lift sanctions. My dear fellow citizens, your love for your countries and all your sacrifices for this land and your suffering in the refugees camps, as well as the blood of the martyrs and the joy that you showed for the new Syria, has a great impact on international community towards Syria, the new Syria. The also interaction of the different communities of Syria as they demanded the lift of sanctions had their impact also. Dear fellow citizens, the unity and solidarity of our people inside the country and outside the country and their good neighboring was a good capital for Syria. And today we are witnessing that on the ground. There is no better feeling than a spontaneous love between the nations and the states. Today, I'm not only celebrating the lifting of sanctions, our joy and happiness rely in the strong and emotional feelings between the different states and the kingdoms and our brothers. The decisions will always be supported by God. Mohammed bin Salman was true in what he said, and as well as President Erdogan and also His Highness Tamim. And all the different leaders, they were true in their feelings. And President Trump, we thank him for responding and for witnessing this love as he decided to lift the sanctions. It was a courageous, a brave decision, as he will help the Syrian people to have a better future and to achieve stability in the region. My dear fellow citizens, the path and the road is still long, and we are about to start the revolution of Syria so that we can transform Syria and make Syria a country of work and prosperity. And from here, we confirm that Syria will commit to strengthening the investment climate in Syria so that we can enable the unlocking of the capitals within Syria and outside Syria so that we can reconstruct the country together. We welcome all the investors from inside and outside the countries and from Syria and from also Turkey and all our friends, and we call on them, we urge them to benefit from the different opportunities in the different domains and fields. Syria promises to be here for all the hands who will be open for Syria. Syria will no longer be a battle for any fights and will not allow or permit the division of Syria, and we will not also allow the revival of any of the old narratives, the narratives of the old regime. Syria is for all the Syrians with its different components and ethnicities and religions and all those who live on this blessed land. It has always been our solid ground and solid corner, and all what happened was because of the external interferences that we reject now. We have learned that our strength is in our solidarity, and we can only pave the ground for a better future through our work. We will never forget our martyrs, our injured, or those who lost their beloved ones, and we will always be them, and they will be with us for the future. Long live Syria, and long live its strong and great people.